Hey, welcome to a Saturday night edition of Shootin' It with Samuel G. What a day it was. A big one for football in this area. Down at Mile High Stadium, Sports Authority Field, the Windsor Wizards coming home with the 4A title. I'll tell you what, Chris Jones has done a marvelous job in his time over at Windsor. He's got a program that is rock solid, and what a job he did in the second half. I really feel like the coaching in the second half was the biggest difference in this game as the Wizards made adjustments. Landon Schmidt just great with his cuts and just with some speed to get to the outside, chewing up yardage. Court Tapia handling things on the defensive side. You know, the Wizards end up 13-1 and beat Loveland 35-14 for the Class 4A state championship, coming home to Windsor. Bula Bula Wizards, they really deserve it. Fun game to watch, and what a wonderful job of execution by a bunch of kids who believe in the coach, believe in the program, and have got things rolling. Keep an eye on this program. I think it's going to be solid for a long, long time. Roosevelt went down to Pueblo, and you know what? They got their lunch. I kind of figured they might. A team that's so one-dimensional, I just feel like it catches up to you after a while. And, you know, being tough guys is just not going to last when it gets right down to the nitty-gritty. They lose to Pueblo East 57-31, finish our season 12-2. And, you know, congrats to Nolan Easton and his guys, but nobody wants to finish second. Nobody goes to a state championship game, planning on losing. So, obviously, the ride home to Johnstown was probably a long one. But, you know, they made it there. They know what it's like now, and we'll see if that can rub off down the road. But this closes the books on the fall season for high school. And a good one it was. And the fact we had two teams playing on the final day, two Weld County teams for state championships, says a lot for the kids in this area. And they did a great job of representing Weld County. All right, let's head to UNC up on the hill. Women's basketball. Cami Etheridge isn't going to fool me for very much longer that her team is not that good. This team is good. I know they don't have Deshara Strange, Stephanie Lee, and Lindsay Mallon on the team anymore. All three have gone on to bigger and better things. But I'm going to tell you what, Cami Etheridge knows what she's doing. She knows how to get the most out of her players. And right now, this little bunch is shooting up three-pointers. I think Courtney Zadna would rather shoot a three-pointer than eat. You know, she's like a broomstick, but boy, she fires them up. And this team is doing well. A great victory over Utah State earlier this week. They play a South Dakota State team, you know, to 66-62 today in Brookings, South Dakota. And that's a Jackrabbit team that's been to the NCAA for the last 5 years, I think. And that really says a lot for Cammie's program. We'll see how they answer the bell after a loss, because that loss today snapped a 3-game win streak. But they take on CSU Tuesday night here in Greeley, and the Rams have only lost once. So I think there's a little bit of a mismatch there, but there was one up in Brookings today too, and the Bears at least fared well. She can take a lot from that game, and those girls are really just her second year in the program, are believing in Etheridge and knowing what she can do. And I'll tell you what, I just look forward and realize this thing could really be something special in a few years when the entire team is Cami Etheridge recruits. She's so well connected, and I just feel that this program has really got bright days ahead of it. The men's program, wow, bad week. Going out to Boulder last Sunday and getting hammered. Going to Cal Riverside this week and getting hammered. BJ Hill's group, I know they're hurting. You know, they're not at full strength. Cam Michael's not in the lineup, and who knows when he's coming back off a concussion. But this team has got to start taking some steps forward, and it's not going to get easier. Now, they have a game this week against York College, somewhere from Nebraska, coming in here, and I expect them to win that one. But then CSU comes here next Sunday. The CSU Ram team right now with one loss. It's not going to get easy for BJ Hill's kids, and you hope that these losses don't get this team down in the dumps, because at some point, you know, just like winning breeds winning, losing can breed losing, and it's up to that coaching staff to keep this bunch on a plateau and believing in themselves. But, man, I'll tell you what, it's kind of tough to watch right now. Let's go to the NBA. I don't follow the NBA, but I will tell you this. I watched a little bit of Steph Curry today. Is there anybody else in the NBA that can play basketball besides this guy? This guy doesn't miss. He's unbelievable. And that's all I'm going to say about the NBA. It's worth spending a few minutes in front of the TV watching Steph Curry. The rest of it, I don't have time for it. Go to the NFL. The Broncos, well, you know, they're still rolling. Brock Osweiler doing the job. But if the playoffs started today, the Broncos would be the number 3 seed in the AFC. Not a great spot to be in. You know, obviously it could be worse. But New England and Cincinnati, I think, would be seated ahead of them if the playoffs started today. And that really tells you where they sit. They're in good shape, but they're not in great shape. But we'll see how it pans out. There's a few games left. Is Peyton Manning going to play again when his foot heals? I don't know. Those are decisions that John Elway and Gary Kubiak have to make, and I'm glad I'm not making them. But as long as they're winning, I don't think you change the formula that's in there. We'll see how that pans out, but interesting to watch. They're definitely one of the better teams to watch right now, and we'll see how that goes. And great games this week. Man, the Green Bay game the other night against Detroit, unbelievable. And you can say what you want about the face mask call that gave him an extra play. It's all part of the game. But how about the pass by Aaron Rodgers? Not so much that he had a receiver when he got it, but that pass, the way it traveled, that thing had to go 80 yards in the air and back down, and it was tight as could be, right on the money. I give Aaron Rodgers credit. He's pulling his team together when they need him most, and it's going to be interesting to see just if they can hang in there and be representative of the NFC, which I think right now is kind of taking a beating in the overall picture, and we'll see how that all pans out. For me, everything's great right now. We're into the winter season. We got some wrestling that went on today in the high school ranks, some good results. UNC wrestling, tough time at the Cliff Keen Invitational out in Vegas, but taking some time off now and getting ready to start really going at that Big 12 schedule as they try to move forward. And one of my best times of the year, in the winter, when a sport that I know the least about and don't enjoy watching, basketball, up against a sport that I feel like I know a little bit about and enjoy watching, wrestling. So it really tests me at both ends of the scale, and I'm looking forward to it. And of course, as long as I'm singing, there's a bell up in my brain that's ringing, making a crazy ding-dong. Come back next week, I'll be here. And if this band don't desert me.